There's only one step, guys, and this is simplicity itself because I got some questions over the last week about, again, how to do it. How do I know that I'm doing it right? What's the process? And processes are fun, but we're going to tell you what processes are for. But there really is no need for process. There's one step only. The gurus will try to tell you, you got to meditate real hard and you've got to get in it and you've got to vibrate with it. You've got to get in alignment. You don't have to vibrate with it. You don't have to get into alignment. You don't have to really believe it. And here's a really good example for this. If God is all loving, guys, whoever created the universe must be all loving, must be love. It is love. Now, for those of you who are parents, your children want food and they come and say, Dad, we want food. Mom, I want food. Do you say, well, I don't know if I'm going to give it to you because you don't believe enough? Go and believe more and then I'll give it to you. Belief has nothing to do with it. You ask and it is given. And this is in the biblical scriptures. Ask and it is given. The Quran says, when you ask, when my slave or my servant asks for something, it is given. This is in every religion. Of course, we talked about how organized religion changes these documents, obscures these things, and then tries to put a process around. Have you noticed that it's always the priesthood or it's always the managerial class who tries to put extra steps in? And I was actually listening to this guy who's actually a really good mentor of mine. He's a great teacher, Peter Sage. Many of you will know who that was. But as great as his material is, and I'd recommend his channel, I recommend his material, but he still goes into that buy me mentality. He's still like, well, you just can't sit on the couch. And well, you're never going to just sit on the couch because you're always going to be inspired to action. Why can't you just sit on the couch? Why does there have to be this extra action, this extra effort? Does God really say, oh no, well, I'm not going to give this to you until you do this action or go and suffer? Does God really need that? Does God need you to suffer? And why does he need you to suffer? He doesn't. And I always go back to what Lester Levinson said in his book, Happiness is Free. And someone was asking about a lady they knew who wanted $1 million. And they were talking about the fact, well, yes, but she has to act on that. She has to do something. And Lester said, no, no, no. She could pad herself. She could padlock herself in a room, and that $1 million would still come to her. We're not saying that you're not going to do anything. We're not saying not to go and take challenges and step out into the unknown. That's what gives life its flavor. But never think that you have to do that. So there's one step to manifesting, guys, and this is going to be the last video on manifesting that you ever have to watch. One step, and that is give it to yourself now. And it's one thing that Peter Sage says that I love, and I often say as well, be happy now. He talks about the fact that, of course, there are 4 modalities. And we talk about it a lot on this channel, there is to me, which is the victim mentality, and that's basically the whole world's against me and there's nothing I can do. That's a victim mentality. And the behavior or the action of that mentality, the mental action is, be happy if. So I would be happy if this happened. Let's say you want a new car. Well, I'll be happy if I get it. It's a very victim type mentality. The second step, and this is where the majority of people are, and of course the majority of people go from this one to me. That is by me. That is, I have to take action, I have to plan it, I have to figure it out. And the buzzword of this step is, I'll be happy when. So that gives you a little bit more power, and it's a lot better than the victim mode of to me. But what happens is people try to plan it, they try to do it, and they realize that, see, the rational mind has no idea how to get to what you want. If you look at all the factors that are surrounding us in the world, there's no way to know how to get it. If you know how to get it, that's just a goal, and it's something that you should just do. Like, I want to go out to eat at Chili's. I know how to get there. So I can just drive over there. It's something that I can do. The only intention worth having and worth applying this methodology on is something I have no idea how to do. I want to make $10 million next year. I have no idea how to do that. By me can't do it. You can try to take the next step, but then you're going to get frustrated. Why? Why do you get frustrated? Because you keep checking the outside world to see, hasn't happened yet? Have I gotten it yet? The next step, the third level, and it's the level that's basically good enough for the majority of humanity, it is through me. And now things are just happening through me. I am being guided to it. It is being guided to me. But it's not a level where I try to get something. It's not a level where I try to figure out the next step and I try to be disciplined. And I try to apply it, by the way. And this is where a lot of the law of assumption, law of attraction guys, even the coaches who are really great and who I recommend, they still have a little bit of, well, you need to hold yourself. You don't need to hold yourself in anything. It is through me. And the byword of this step of through me is not be happy if, not be happy when. It is be happy now. And how do I be happy now? If I want something and it's not here, by definition, I cannot be happy. Now, a lot of the modalities that everybody teaches are how to be happy now with what you have, so you can be completely present. And that is beautiful, of course. And the secret of that is you get to the level where you're actually where you want to be, because now is always where you want to be. You just can't see it. So being present now is the state of the wish fulfilled. But a lot of people are like, you have to be grateful now and be happy now. And then a lot of people are like, follow the law of attraction. Well, vibrate with it. Try to vibrate with it. But you haven't vibrated with it yet. That's why it's not here yet. And all of these are what we could call concessions to not being in your desired state, not being in the state of your preference. But what if I told you you could actually be in and inhabit the state of your presence right now? It's very easy to do. And once you do that, while all of these laws are useful for beginners, and it's useful for people who are still overwhelmed by the physical and by the evidence of the senses, advanced people don't need to take those steps because you can give it to yourself right now. And it's simply through an act, very simply. You don't even have to visualize. You don't even have to imagine. You just ask yourself, who is the person who actually has this? You just ask yourself, what is the state of actually having this? What are the surroundings of actually having this? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What am I surrounded by? And you just give that to yourself now, and you learn to maneuver it. So you can start out with a visualization. You can visualize, let's say you want a house, you visualize yourself in the house. You do that enough where you practice yourself into that. But soon it'll just simply be, get there now. Be there now. And Joe Dispenza talks about actually writing down a letter. Let's say you want a house, you can write down the letter H, and you can put, lines around it that represent the field. This is just an aid for you, a mental aid. And then you actually think of that letter. And when you think of that letter, you get into the state of it, which is the whole surrounding of it, the whole context of it. You bring it into the now, and you are that. Then nothing else is necessary, guys. And it's another thing that Peter Sage actually talked about, and many other spiritual teachers talk about. It's something that I've experienced, and you'll know it when you feel that. You actually start to get into the state of not caring whether it comes or not. So I don't care whether that house comes or not in my physical experience. Why? Because I'm living in it every second, and I'm satisfying myself with that every moment. And so just embodying that, it's the one step, guys. There's nothing you have to do, right? There's not a thing you have to do. Neville Goddard said, do not lift a finger to get what you want. There's not a thing you have to do. There's not a step you have to take. You just have to be in that state. And then you have to open your eyes and just look for the signs of that. And they're going to be all around you, because it was always all around you, because there's no physical. We actually have a crazy story we're going to tell you in another video here about how the physical world is just a total farce, guys. There's nothing physical. But does that help you? There's no other steps. There's nothing you have to do. No journaling, no meditation. All that helps and we recommend it. Quantum resting, we recommend it and it helps. But the only thing you have to do is just give it to yourself now. Be it now, and then you're there. Be delusional. Enjoy it. And then I promise you guys, and we're doing experiments on this. And actually, we're going to be talking about, we're going to give it as a process because the logical mind needs processes. But I'm going to show you an experiment, guys, and I'm going to show you exactly the steps that I followed. I'm going to show you the results, and it's going to blow your mind. But you don't even need that. Just embody it now, be delusional, create your own world, live in it, and I promise you it's going to come to you faster than you ever thought possible. There is no process. There's one step. Much love and appreciation, guys. See you soon.